Hi everyone, hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to another video. So as you might have seen the thumbnail in this video, I'm going to discuss why I solved 3000 problems and what I have learned and all my learnings, right? So before I get started, just wanted to give a brief intro those who are new to the channel. So my channel basically talks about DSA and design. Who am I? I have 2000 plus rating on LeetCode. I am working at top MNC, and also recently during my switch, I received 10 job offers, and overall I have solved more than 3000 problems, right? You Before I start, right, I want to say it here that you don't need to solve 3000 problems. I like solving problems. That's why I have did it, right? And over the time, without any guidance, I was just solving problems blindly. That is also another reason, right? So before I start, right, I just want to establish credibility of the channel. So moving to my profiles. So this is my profile. You can see the total. This is a website where it kind of summarizes all of your problem count. You can see total questions I have solved 3300. Mainly are at lead code. Lead code I have solved around this, and then if you see Geeks for Geeks, it would be around 1000. These are the main platforms. I tried Codeforces, but that is generally for competitive programming. So I'm mainly a DSA kind of a guy. I don't call myself competitive programmer as well, right? That involves high math, and I'm not that good with math, to be honest. So this is my lead code profile if anyone is interested, and I have close to 2000 rating now and solved around 600 problems. You don't need to solve these many, mostly are medium as you can see. And going to Geeks for Geeks, this is Geeks for Geeks profile solved around 1000, right? So as I've established the credibility, now I want to move back to this video, right? So I generally host live streams on my channel, and I have got a lot of questions around how to start, right? How would I do it again if I had to do it, right? So that's where this video comes into picture, right? So these are the 6 steps that I'll be taking everyone through, right? And if anyone is in college, this would be really helpful for them. Or if anyone is looking to switch and they have got DSA out of touch, right, then also it would be helpful. So this is going to be specific to DSA only. So without taking any further time, I'll get started, right? So the first section that we have is how to get started, right? How to get started for DSA interviews and how to learn DSA, right? The first thing that we need to do is the first and most important thing is learning a programming language, right? So one needs to know a programming language, right? Now, in college, generally we are taught all the language, right? So when I was in college, I had C++, Python, Java, and so to give an example, I have solved problems in all of these languages when I was in college, right? Like 10 to 15 problems in all. See, whether it is C in, C out, whether it is printf, whether it is system.out.println. I have tried all of these, right? So, but you need to pick one, right? So I would suggest Java, C++, or Python, right? In that order, right? C++ and Java, these are kind of both in same order. C++ is better if you want to become a competitive programmer because resources are more in that. In Java, there are slight less, but Java then helps in when you want to do low-level design and whatnot, right? In your interviews later. So both have their perks. Java and C++, both I would recommend you can pick any of this. And if you are very beginner, you can start with Python also. And then once you have learned this, the next step would be to learn data structures in above language. So, so for example, if I take an example of Java, right? So in Java, there is a hash map, there is stack. So I need to know all those data structures in Java, and I should be able to leverage libraries also and also implement them without using any library, right? So generally, a stack, queue, hash map, priority queue, these kind of things you should know, right? Data structures and algos. So algos, DP and whatnot, right? So basically these are something that help in solving the programming language, right? One of the confusion that I want to break here is that when in college we are taught data structures and algorithms, right? We score good marks in the subject. We are asked to implement stack and queue. We are all good, right? That we know DSA. But the main thing is solving problems using above, right? That's the main thing here. So why it is main? Because you know stack, but will you be able to solve the histogram problem, very famous problem on LeetCode, without just knowing stack, right? You need to know that intuition also, you need to know that pattern also behind that, right? So that is where solving problems comes into picture. So for this, what I would suggest is do some course from Udemy. In Udemy, you can get something around 300, 400. You don't have to pay anything. Also, you can learn from YouTube also. So these are the things that I would guide anyone here, right? Just spend around couple of weeks, only 2 weeks should be good enough, right? To just take care of the first part, right? And then start solving problems like for loop while you're doing that also. Now once you have done, right? Now the next step is that you need to solve problems. Solve problems, recognize patterns. So the spellings are wrong. I'm not going to spend time correcting that. So now if you have to ask me which platform, I would say is just use LeetCode or GFG. Stick to one. Like if I have to start again, I would start with LeetCode. Now earlier I started with GFG. That's why you see I have solved 1,000 problems there. But I would now stick to LeetCode, right? LeetCode is one of the best platform out there. It is very good, and their resources are also very good. You don't need to buy the premium as of now. You can start with just the plain simple LeetCode, right? And so that's it, right? Go to LeetCode, start with easy problems, start with easy, and don't give up if you're not able to solve, right? Most of the people out here are not able to solve when they start, right? Now, how many problem to target, right? This is asked a lot, right? So I would say 300 or so is good number. If I have to start again, right? Once you have solved around 300 problems, and if I have to also kind of target that in how I would say 100 easy, 150 or so medium, 150 to let's say 200 or 150 round medium, and then let's make it this way, right? And 50 hard, right? Or you can increase this also. You can probably say 50 easy, 200 medium, and then 50 hard. This is a good balance, I think, feel. This will give you pump that okay, you are able to solve. This will demotivate you, okay, that you are not able to solve, and this will keep you in the middle, right? But never stop solving problems, and right, and how to, which sheets to follow. So all the sheets are good out there, right? All the sheets have good problems, whether it is neat code, whether it is drivers, or whether it is like top 150 on LeetCode, right? All are good. I personally have solved all of them, but I already had a job before solving these, right? I had already cracked interviews before going through any sheet. These sheets did not exist when I was preparing for interviews. So around that time, I had close to 700, 1700 or 1800 rating on LeetCode. So I was pretty good back then only. So you don't need to stick to any of the, just need to follow all the patterns. There are 20, 25 patterns. You should be able to recognize that. So for example, let's say I have given you some problem. It revolves around starting window, it revolves around monotonic stack, or it revolves around max sweep. You should be able to recognize that, right? And also don't just stick on number of problems, right? Think it in like that. You have to practice that particular algorithm, right? Now, to give an example, let's say you are facing a Yorker, right, in cricket. Now, you can only get at Yorkers if you face more Yorkers, right? In the same way, you can only get good at dynamic programming if you solve more problems of DP, right? New problems. That's why you need to kind of see new problems and revise old problems, right? So it's like if you have practiced Yorker of Bumrah, right? Some other bowler might have different variation of Yorker, right? So you need to solve that also. And I have heard a lot that number of problems doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have solved quality problems, but it helps in gaining speed, right? So I would say that I have solved 3,000 problems. I can't say that it doesn't matter. It has improved my speed. I was able to solve lead code first two, three problems in 10, 15 minutes when I was at my peak in last year, right? So in 30 minutes, I was able to solve first three. Fourth is generally very hard or hard. and that's rarely asked in interviews, right? So I used to skip that one. So that would be my advice here. And moving to the next one. So how much time? So if you are like very new, so if you are, let's say, very beginner, so in that time I would say that you can spend 60 minutes or so, right? If you, let's say, have no idea, right? If you are going nowhere, then 60 minutes is good enough. And let's say if you are like intermediate, you have solved problems and you are around giving interviews. So let's say giving interviews, you are giving interviews, then I would say 45 minutes is enough, right? Because if you are not able to get any idea around it in 45 minutes, then there is a very good chance that you are not able to solve this in an interview also. So better you see, go to discuss and see the discuss section, go to discuss section and see the idea, right? Like this is all if you are, if you have no clue, right? If let's say you are close, you are passing like 800 test cases out of 1000, then you should spend some more time, right? In some case, like let's say you're getting no idea, then it is better to kind of see the solution in 45 minutes, and then probably practice more around that, right? How to improve the intuition, right? So I think the best way to improve intuition is solve new problems. Like solving old problems or solving already did problems help you revise the concept. So for example, let's talk about DSU, right? Disjoint sets. So I have learned this concept a lot of time. Once after I got placed, I wanted to do some more advanced programming. So I learned about it, and then after a week or so, I forgot about it. So you have to revise it again and again, right? Now, this helps in knowing or in making your DSU firm, right? Now there are two things. So you know DSU. Second thing is how to recognize that okay, DSU is going to be applied. That is where when you solve new problems and you have no idea which is going to be applied there, right? So once DSU clicks that you know DSU, then whether you are able to solve it or not, that is the second step, right? So to do the second step, you need to practice the existing problems a lot, and to recognize you need to solve new problems. And I would say keep your phone aside and spend 30 minutes on a problem. After solving 300 to 400 problems, you will start getting the intuition, right? And there are websites like where every problem is kind of rated. So solve around 200 plus rated problems on LeetCode, right? So that is one example, and participate in LeetCode contests. Now, this is something that happens bi-weekly or weekly, right? Every week there are contests, but I would say is participate in virtual contests. So there are close to 400 contests now on LeetCode, right? So see, you have 400 virtual contests out there. What I would say is go take part in that, right? So you have 400 days basically. And first problem is easy. So even once you have done, let's say 100 problems, right? And every day you do a virtual contest. First problem you will be able to solve most of the day, right? Sometimes it gets critic, but most of the time that will give you some boost that, okay, easy problem is done. Then second problem you will gradually start solving. Third also you'll start solving. Down the line you'll see after 6 months or 8 months, you will be able to solve first three in 1 hour or 1.5 hour, right? Then gradually your speed will start increasing. So you'll be able to solve those in like 30 minutes or so, right? So that is where you should do that, and that improves your intuition, right? This is the most important thing. Participates in virtual contests. Next is the revise what you learn, right? Just like when we used to revise in school or when we were learning ABC, we used to revise it a lot, right? DSA is the same thing. When you go to gym also, you do same exercise every week, right? I would say that's what you have to do with problems also. Like for example, let's say you learned sliding window and you solved around 8 to 10 problems around that. So make it a habit to revise this every week, right? Pick a topic and spend like 80 minutes. Like 60 minutes around that solving every time, right? So that it kind of helps to you to make sure that you know that what you have to implement when it clicks. So when sliding window, when monotonic stacks, it clicks you, right? You should not be like, okay, I don't know the implementation now. Same with try. So you should be like very quick on the implementation. One, you recognize the pattern, right? Now, one last thing I would like to say is that who invents the DSA problems, right? We only, engineers only invent, we write those, right? There are writers on LeetCode, Geeks for Geeks who write the problem. Now, let's say what how I would like to think is that there is like the problems are not coming from the top, right? It's not like God is not creating them. So it's engineer who is creating them, and when they create a problem, right, they might have thought of some algorithm that okay, let me create a problem around DSU, let me create a problem around greedy. So that is the intuition that you should also think about, that whenever you see a problem, which pattern fits in it. Once you are able to crack the pattern, then I would so that you will be able to solve more problems on your own. So I don't want to make this video very long also. I think it's already 15 minutes. So this is a good length of a video. I'll be creating more videos also, but I have got this question a lot on how one can get started. That would be my advice, and never spend any extra money. Just a friendly advice from my side to any fellow engineer, any fellow student watching, that don't spend money on any of the course out there. um, it might give you a dedicated approach, but I think it's who have to kind of make your own path, right? Solve problems. Most of the resources out there are free, so and don't kind of feel bad if you're not able to solve any of the problems, right? Slowly it will come, but never give up, right? So I'll end with that. If I can do it, you also can do it. Thank you so much. Bye.